out there, this is Toy Customizer Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with a commission for Ring-Tailed Fox. It is Nack the Weasel. Now I know it hasn't been that long since I made a Nack the Weasel figure, but this one is supposed to be more accurate to the comic book appearance, which means that there's going to be a little bit of minor changes. Mostly I'll be using Shadow's torso instead of Tails, because in the comic book his physique is a little bit slimmer. Now, I think I should reference why I use this recipe that I do. Almost anyone's arms will do, as long as they have, gloves. And I usually use Shadow's legs because those can easily be made into Nack's boots. And as you can see, the torso is either Tails' for the video game appearance or Shadow's for the comic appearance. But why do I use the werehog's head? The werehog's head has a couple of advantages. Of course, it has the sharp, expressive eyes that match Nack's scowl, and it's relatively small. It's easy to cut off the ears and small spines on his head and file it round to be Nack's round head. In a pinch, you could do this with Shadow, but Shadow has really big spines that are very difficult to cut through, and I have sliced my fingers open trying to cut Shadow's spines off. You could also do this with Silver's head since it is smaller and rounder, but the thing is the werehog also has a very long muzzle, and this is easy to build Nack's muzzle on top of that, as kind of an internal scaffolding. Silver has almost no muzzle, and there would really be nothing to build around without almost covering up his eyes. So Silver's head is out because it's simply too small, and Shadow's is very hard to work with because you have to cut off a whole bunch of stuff. So the werehog's head is just the perfect base for making Nack's. It's just natural. Okay, so now that I've talked about the recipe a bit, let's go on to, the rest of the stuff. You've seen all this stuff before, so I won't really get too into details. Just sculpt on Nack's charming hat and his little ears and his well-known big one snaggletooth thing that he's going on. And, you got your purple weasel. The body is Super Silver's. I put on a buckle from a Sonic shoe to be his belt, and then sculpt on his chest fluff and that extremely long tail. I didn't really do much to the arms this time. I just sculpted those metal pads that go onto the backs of his gloves. It's not a big deal. Once painted, they look like a close enough approximation. The legs, aside from the head, required the most sculpt, just to cover them up and make them look like Nack's boots. And put them all together and you get Nack the Weasel, all slim and comic booky. I also went with the comic book color scheme, which basically means light blue eyes and a gray nose, because that's really the only difference. I think the video game version of the character, his eyes vary depending on what source you're looking at, but he always has a blue nose. But in the comic book, he has a gray nose, so, there's that. I'm glad that Nack actually got to stay in the comic book since he was one of the old video game characters and not something that Penders could claim copyright on. I still can't believe he actually got Shard. Shard was Metal Sonic. How can he claim Metal Sonic? That's just stupid. Whatever. Alright, so this has been a Nack the Weasel custom. This is Wake Angel 2001, and I'm signing off.